And when we look back on 2009, we'll certainly remember many shocking moments. On newsstands now, People Magazine's special edition, Scandals That Rocked America. That's on top of its regular issue, which of course came out today as well. The senior editor of People, David Kaplan, is here. So David, let's talk about some of these most shocking stories, if you will. Top mind, obviously, and on your list, Miracle on the Hudson.
Yeah, this was an incredible story. It was a very feel-good story. It involved heroism. It involved sort of everyone banding together. And it was a great story because, we always hear these negative stories, and it had such an amazing ending. And really, Captain Sully, many people say he was straight out of Central Casting. He was just like
Absolutely.
This granddad everyone loved. On People, we showed him on the cover with a baby. So it was just an incredible story, and it was so engaging with our readers.
And he was so calm, and whenever he retold that story, you just thought, that is exactly the pilot that I want piloting my plane wherever I go. Okay, also, sadly, Balloon Boy.
Yeah, this was an amazing story, and what this really put a focus on was sort of people's sort of desperation to get on reality TV shows. And what was incredible about it too was that it also put a bit of sort of a microscope on news gathering, because when it first emerged the story, it was unclear what was happening. I think a lot of people felt duped by it, so that's why it captivated so many people.
And how sad that they were so desperate. Michael Jackson, another sad story. This one, boy, so many people were shocked by his death.
Exactly, it was completely shocking, and then and what his death really showed was how loved he was really by so many people, even though when he was alive he took a lot of heat, and as well it gave us great insight into his life after he died. We learned about the drug use, the issues with his family, like with his dad and stuff. So it was another, story that really, it was more than a death. It really was a bit of a sort of a microscope on how he lived.
Yeah, absolutely. And the story that continues, obviously, with his doctor still in the spotlight. On the same day, and it was hard for me to remember that this was exactly the same day, but Farrah Fawcett died. Within hours, essentially, they died.
Yeah, I mean, incredible, because here you had essentially another icon, not from the world of music, but from the world of TV. And again, her battle with cancer was very well documented. She did a documentary on it.
Yeah.
She, again, was beloved. She was an American icon. And just, a really sort of, awful passing that was so many people loved her.
And really gave so much courage to so many people battling cancer, because it was so well documented, her battle. And she put so much out there. It was so personal and heartfelt and intimate, really, in a way that I think a lot of people would be afraid to do, especially a celebrity.
Absolutely, yeah. She was very inspirational to a lot of people, and that's what she wanted to do by telling her story.
Yeah. Tiger Woods.
That's the one.
The year ender, really.
It's a good year ender because it's so scandalous. And what's great about this story is that people love it because you're seeing really the downfall of the sports grade, and then it involves all these aspects. It involves sex and money and intrigue. It's the perfect scandalous story.
The $12 billion lost. Now we were just reporting that AT&T, among some of the other sponsors, has dropped him as well, with really a very curt line, just essentially saying, they said, we are ending our sponsorship agreement with Tiger Woods and wish him well in the future.
Yeah, so as you see, it's really spanning everything. And what was so scandalous about this story is we're all used to sort of, athletes cheating, celebrities cheating, but we're talking about at least 14 women. One is too many when it comes to infidelity, but you multiply that by 14, and that's why everyone was so captivated, and so many of our readers are just, want to read more and more about it.
And I feel so sorry for his wife and family, because, boy, the stories continue, all these rumors about, is he in a sex addiction rehab, or is he out partying with his girlfriend? People are floating things out online, and who knows what's true, right? Impossible to know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's so much sympathy for Elin right now that's another really aspect to the story, not just his own woes, but really how she's coping with it. And
in an odd way now linked to this story because of a comment that the lawyer made in this next story, David Letterman.
Yeah, incredible, actually. David Letterman, the extortionist here, Halderman, who was the producer, his lawyer actually was using Tiger Woods as a defense, saying, hey, women with Tiger Woods were asking for money, and, they weren't charged or anything, so my client should be allowed the same sort of, I don't know if it's, the same sort of benefit. So it's very interesting that, he was very lucky, this Halderman, that the Tiger Woods story came up so they could use it.
Bizarre. Well, that one continues as well. And then, boy, this was one everyone is cheering this young woman on, J.C. Dugard.
Yeah, this is an incredible story. Finding her was an incredible story. It was feel good, and it was just such a great story to come out. But what was incredible for people is when we showed her, and you're showing the cover now, was the new photo of her emerging. Everyone wants to know.
After 2 decades.
Exactly. Everyone wanted to know, what did she look like? Because it was such an awful story that everyone's imaginations were going wild. What is she going to look like? How is she going to appear?
How's the family?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And her family said she was doing all right, given all things, and the photo was just amazing to see.
That's right. Okay, well, looks like a great issue. David Kaplan, thanks for summing it all up for us.
Thank
Great
you very
job.
much.
Got a
Thank
lot
you.
in there.
Quite the case of irony at the 2010 Consumer Electronics Show. A power problem caused the lights to all go out just as the show was about to kick off. It happened right as Microsoft CEO was about to start his keynote address. An audience of about 3,500 just sat around and waited for about 25 minutes before things were up and running properly again. And right now, things are getting underway at the CES. From 3D TVs to a major shift in the way people use computers, all eyes are on these cool new gadgets, as well as all eyes being on CNBC's Jim Goldman, who joins us live from Las Vegas. And with a good morning to you, what's the cool stuff you got there?
Well, good morning. Yeah, you know, tablet and slate personal computers are all the rage, no question about it. This is the latest from HP. It is not the one that Steve Ballmer showed, the prototype last night during the keynote, but nonetheless, it gives you an idea of where the technology is going. This might look like a regular laptop, but basically you flip the screen around, you fold it back, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a slate or tablet computer. This is under $1,000 from Hewlett-Packard, and it is available as of today. Also, check out this. This is a new line of devices from Sony. You might be familiar with the popular flip video camera. Well, this is Sony's answer, the Bloggy. But the difference is, not only is this about $170, it is true HD. $170 for this, and it's 1080p, unlike the Flip. And Sony's got high hopes for this. You take easy video, load it up to YouTube or your favorite social networking website, and this is getting a lot of attention. And come with me down here because I want to show you some other stuff that's getting a lot of attention. As we walk down here, this is Celeste McWhorter. She's a girl gamer. She has also designed her own line of clothing specifically for the girl gamer. GameDar.com is what she does, and it's helping put herself through college with this stuff. So this is kind of cool. Thank you very much, Celeste. Finally, check this out. This is the Sanyo Eneloop bike. Why is this significant? Well, we get a lot of attention for battery-powered and electric vehicles. This is an electric assisted bicycle. It won the Best of Innovation Award for eco-friendly devices here at CES. It's got a 40-mile range or so on a charge. It doesn't ride for you. It gives you pedal assist through electricity. Very, very cool. About $2,300. And I got to tell you, this thing is a lot of fun to ride. As cool as it might look with all these technology gadgets on the handlebars and so forth, in order to really enjoy what this thing does, you got to ride it. And I'm telling you, this is a lot of fun.
How fast does it go?
It goes as fast as you want it to go. Huh. Because, you know, you can go really fast. See how fast I'm coming at you?
Yeah.
But Sanyo has really got high hopes for this. This is battery-powered technology. It's in a bicycle today, but, you know, Sanyo is a real leader when it comes to electric storage and battery-powered devices. So this just gives you an idea of what the technology is capable of. It's available at Best Buy, and this is generating a lot of excitement here.
All right. We thank you for showing it to us. You got a great gig out there at the CES. Thanks. Jim Goldman, thank you.
Well, as the first decade of the 21st century draws to a close, we want to take a look back at the highs and the lows, from 9/11 to Hurricane Katrina to an historic presidential election. NBC's Mara Schiavocampo joins us with the decade in review. 10 years, 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Good
no
luck.
problem, right? Listen, a lot of people consider this decade to have been a pretty tough one. Like you said, it started out with 9/11, and it didn't necessarily get much better from there.
The decade that was, one that's been hard to describe.
I call it the 2000s.
The 2000s.
2000s? We're all going to have to work on it.
And even harder to define.
The decade of the American awakening.
You could call it the decade of broken dreams.
The Madoff decade.
Though the big party was in 2000, for many, the decade really started the following year.
We have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center.
9/11, the world changed. I think the world's axis tilted for a lot of us.
It awakened Americans to the fact that there were people hell-bent on their destruction.
The biggest terror attack of our time was followed by 2 wars. Then, in 2005, a battle with Mother Nature knocked a city out cold.
Katrina was obviously a travesty for the American people. We expect disasters, but we do also expect in this country that our government will be on top of it.
Katrina shook many Americans' faith in government. In 2008, confidence in the nation's financial system was also shattered.
It was a decade where we spent beyond our means and we paid the ultimate price for it.
And I can only hope that we become stronger and tougher, and that the next generation has a stronger value of life, of material wealth, and what it means to be a a citizen of this country.
But it hasn't all been a decade of doom. The 2000s also brought what many consider to be a highlight of American history.
One bright spot that we can definitely point to inside this decade is President Obama's election.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
America has gone from being a slave economy country to electing a black president. And that's an accomplishment.
Still, there is one thing we never did manage to do this decade. Name it.
What does it say that we've now had 10 years to think about it and no one's come up with a satisfying? The aughts? I'm not calling it the aughts.
The aughts? Probably not. And now we have to figure out what to call the next 10 years.
Now, as far as the name of the decade is concerned, that generally doesn't become apparent for quite some years later. So we're just going to have to wait and see what they end up calling this era.
And we don't know what's next either, right? You and I were talking earlier.
Exactly.
My thought was teens, but as you said, if that's the case, we're going to have to wait 3 years still to get to it.
It doesn't get obvious till the 20s. Then we're set.
Then we're easy. Okay. Mara Scavacampo, thank you.
Thank you. Washington State couple has found a green way to save some green for their wedding. They are collecting aluminum cans and saving the recycling fees to pay for their ceremony. The bride-to-be is Andrea Parrish. The groom-to-be is Peter Geyer, and they live in Spokane, Washington. And together, they are saving every can to see how much they can pay for their July wedding. Andrea Parrish, bride-to-be, joins us on the phone. Good morning to you, and best wishes on your wedding. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
You say you need, what, about 5 tons of cans to meet your goal, $4,000 you need for your wedding. Let's put up some numbers right now. According to your website, so far you've collected 20,381 cans, having donations equal to 727 cans. That's a total of 48,108 cans. That's a lot of cans there. But you have over 350,000 to go. What you think you're going to get there?
I certainly hope so.
I'll bet you do, because you want to pay for this wedding. What kind of wedding are you planning?
Well, we're planning a wedding where we celebrate the friends and the family that brought us together and, our union, and have basically a big party where a wedding happens to happen in the middle of it.
Okay. What gave you the idea of going green to do this, to help get the finances raised?
Well, we've always been kind of a green couple. Our front yard is an organic garden, and all the neighbors think we're crazy for it. And we've always recycled cans. Peter actually has an art hobby that involves melting down aluminum. So we had, 40 pounds in our backyard when the project started.
Oh, that's pretty great. Is this something that you think other people can get going? I mean, are you starting to think of yourselves as examples that you hope others will follow, and if so, why?
Well, I certainly hope other people follow our example, if for nothing else, to help save the environment. I mean, aluminum saves 95% of the energy it takes to create a can from new materials when you recycle it. I mean, it's 7 kilowatt hours for every can recycled that you're saving for the environment. It's just amazingly useful and really easy.
Yeah. So, Andrea, if someone wants to help out and donate, do they have to be in your area there?
No, they don't. We're asking people across the country to recycle their cans locally. There's a recycling center almost anywhere in the country. Then take themselves out to a coffee or a beer and throw some of the remaining proceeds our way.
Ah, that's how they can do it. Okay. So how about the folks there in Spokane? Have they really been stepping up? Are you getting a lot of coverage?
Oh, they have been doing amazingly well. We got just 110 pounds picked up last night from a couple of donors, and it looks like we've got someone with over 300 pounds of cans in their basement that we're talking to.
Oh, that is awesome. So after the wedding, do you know where the honeymoon's going to be? Because all I can think of right now is going to a beach somewhere and being warm. I don't know what it's like there in Spokane, but let me look at the map. Well, it's not so great. You guys are having a chilly time, too.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. In fact, there's snow on the ground out here, but we actually aren't planning the honeymoon yet. We wanted to make sure we could pay for the wedding and to give our friends and family a really fun celebration before we worried about taking a vacation.
That is really generous of you. So I hope everyone has a great time at the wedding and that people contribute a lot of cans, because you guys deserve to have a smash-up great time. And it's a great idea. Thank you for talking with us, Andrea Parrish, and best of luck to you and to Peter.
Thank you so much, Alex. Have a great morning.
You too.